Alright, so I'm going to do a quick review on some of my food preps because I'm changing a lot of this stuff over. I'm getting rid of a lot of my non-standard food. I'm basically just eating it up. And I decided to change a lot over to these Augason Farms foods, now available at Walmart, although they've been available through Sam's Club and Costco, a few other places for a long time. This here is their dinner pack and their breakfast pack. And basically what each one of these packs is their selection of 6 of these, what they call a number 10 can of foods that are themed either for, let's say, dinner or breakfast. They don't currently, as of July of 2012, they don't currently make one that they call a lunch pack. According to their website, each one of these packs would roughly cover somebody for a month of a 1,200 calorie a day diet. Well, a 1,200 calorie a day diet is starvation. Okay, guys, that's a little bit optimistic to call that a one person 1 month supply. Each one of these is around 15.63 pounds of food. It's not going to last you a month. Okay, now if you had the breakfast plus the dinner, okay, I think you could eat on that. I think one person can go a month for that, but these aren't really all that complete. You can make dinners out of the dinner pack, but the breakfast pack you got to consider to be a starter. For example, they include buttermilk pancake mix, but nothing that would really act as sweetener on that except for some strawberry slices. So if you want to eat pancakes without butter and without syrup, that's you. Okay. Scrambled eggs alone with no condiments, but it's a basis for stuff. So when you're setting up, let's say, a 3 to 6 month package, depending on how many people you have, these are a good basis, not because this is really a complete set of dinners or that's a complete set of breakfast, but because they do cut you a better deal when you buy the package of 6 cans as opposed to buying the cans individually. And they give you a nice heavy-duty box where these cans can be kind of dented and manhandled, or dented if they're manhandled. That's a nice heavy-duty box that they do. But you're going to find yourself needing to add stuff. Like, for the breakfast, they don't have any milk items. They make a freeze-dried milk substitute. There's nothing for syrup out of our Augason Farms, but they have honey powder, which you can add the water and heat up, and it becomes honey again. They have cheese blend powder. They have a butter powder. You can use those items to round these out. Now, they also have entree cans, okay? And their entree cans are going to be a lot like this Southwest chili mix. They do a few other soups. And they're actually kind of comparable to your Mountain House, okay? But it's a hell of a lot more food for the money. This big thing of Southwest chili mix is around $16, $17. That's equal to 5 or 6 bags of the $5 and $6 Mountain House. Now, to make this really good and edible, you're going to want to add some other stuff to that. And that's your game meat, maybe your beef jerky, maybe something you still get at the store, maybe some stores are still open during shit hit the fan. You would, kind of bulk this stuff up with it. And if you're a full-size adult, you got to think a hell of a lot more than a 1,200 calorie a day diet. Again, that's starvation level. But when you're talking about 2,500 calorie a day diet, that's kind of like what people in jails get. That they're like having 3 school lunches a day or something like that. Talking 5,000 calorie diets, you're looking at what somebody could actually do physical labor on. 10,000 calorie diets, you got to look out for getting fat. Okay, so and this stuff would be just as fattening as any other food if you overeat it because there's a lot of starch involved, and that's kind of how they bulk out the breakfast pack. I mean, you've got cream of wheat plus dehydrated potatoes plus buttermilk pancakes all in there. I don't know about you, but I try not to have that much starch with a breakfast, and I'm overweight. I'd say it right now. Shit hits the fan, and I'm having to do a bunch of more physical stuff than I normally do. I'm going to want to lose weight anyway, but I don't mind, and I can skip a meal, and it's no big deal. But here you got the creamy potato soup, you got some meat substitute. You can mix and match to make some meals out of this. But again, you're probably going to want, like, their chili mix or their chowder mix or something to make some other food. But yeah, I still think it's a plus. I think the Augason Farms food is a good way to go if you don't want to become a food and culinary expert. You can go to Walmart, you can buy these packs, 1 or 2 a month over the course of a year, and you're going to have a respectable food supply built up. Just kind of look at the ingredients and make some common sense decisions, especially based on what else they have on a shelf. Like, realize the breakfast pack doesn't come with a milk mix. You may not go through that much milk mix in a month. I definitely won't go through this much cheese blend in a month or that honey powder in a month, but that's the size of can they come in. Now, these cans are resealable, and while they'll have a up to 30-year shelf life on this stuff, once the seal's been broken on a can, that shelf life kind of drops to just a couple of months. Okay, so once you make a decision to pop one of these cans open, it's kind of got to be eaten. And when you're doing this as part of your food plan, if it's a group of people, bigger is better. You might as well just feed people group meals, because once you pop these cans, that's that. But there are people that what they're going to do is they're going to pop these cans, break out their little Ziploc bags and seal a meal stuff. Even old peanut butter jars and jars that were used for other food, you can pour these powders in other jars and then seal those back up and start buying back some of that storage life. They got a bunch of stuff. You can check out the Augason Farms website. They actually deleted my comments on some of the items that I've bought, some of the items I did real reviews on, but I was honest about it. Some of these things, they're not all that great for standalone. You still got to add some stuff to them to make the type of meals you want to make. And a lot of these have a honey white bread and roll mix, all that kind of stuff. I've tested it with my bread machine, which is now part of my prep. Okay, I've got solar power. I can run a bread machine. I could go out, work for a day, come back. I know I got a loaf of bread. It's a 3-hour cycle. So when my solar equipment's running, I'm obviously only going to do that in the daytime. I've got a running inverter to run a bread machine, but it also means I've got a bread situation with that extra long shelf life. Now, what I've figured out too, and I'll detail this in another video, is that I can store homemade beer that has, obviously it's preserved, germ-free water in there because the alcohol kills all the bacteria and everything. And then it's also yeast. Okay, when you make homemade beer, there's always some yeast left in it, and that's enough yeast to activate the flour. I've tested it. It works with the bread machine. You can reactivate your flour with homebrew beer. With one bottle, one loaf of bread, it's a decent mix. Your white bread will come out looking kind of like not true wheat bread, but it'll come out as a darker bread because there's other grain ingredient in the beer, and it's decent stuff. I just would warn people that the serving sizes and the nutrition information that's on the packages here it's very optimistic for the expected American diet. So what they tell you might be a 1-month pack, you got to think maybe 2 or 3 weeks. When they rate one of these packs alone, like you were only going to eat dinners for a month, they say you could last a month on it. That's if you that's pushing it. Okay, if you have the breakfast plus the dinner, and let's say you skip lunches, yeah, you could do that. But again, you're not talking complete breakfast in there either. You'd have to add a separate thing of milk, separate thing of something for syrup. There's no law against adding oils to your storage supply. Let's say a couple big cans of olive oil or cooking oil of some type, something with a good storage life. But anyway, that's my review on the Augason Farms breakfast pack, dinner pack, and some of their individual stuff. I'll review some more of that later.